Hello, my name is Hannah Finch. I attend RSA Academy Arravale. I'm 15 years old. My topic is, how high can girls fly? Well, one girl that can really fly high is Tinkerbell. The world is endless for that little fairy, as it is for many women these days, but it hasn't always been the case. In 1848, the first Women's Rights Convention was held in Seneca Falls in New York. After 2 days of discussion and debate, 68 women and 32 men signed a declaration of sentiments which outlines grievances and sets the agenda for the women's rights movement. It was calling for an equal treatment between men and women under the law and voting rights for women. The suffragettes were a rights-to-vote organisation in the late 19th and early 20th century, particularly in the UK and the USA. The actions of the suffragettes included chaining themselves to railings and setting fire to mailbox contents. One suffragette, called Emily Davison, died while trying to throw a Votes for Women banner over the King's Horse at the Epsom Derby on the 4th of June 1913. Many suffragettes were imprisoned in Holloway Prison in London and were force-fed after they went on a hunger strike. Women in Britain began to vote on the 6th of February in 1918, but this was limited only to women over the age of 30 due to World War I suffrage protests. However, all of this changed by 1928, when every woman over the age of 21 in Britain had the right to vote. Another suffragette, called Emily Pankhurst, explored all avenues of protest, including violence, hunger strikes, and public demonstrations. She died in 1928, just 3 weeks before the right to vote for every woman over the age of 21. For many years, women respected these suffragettes, as previously they had to stay inside and cook and clean for the males when they got home and watch over the children. Now, women and girls take that for granted, and they assume their equality with the males has always been the same. An unlikely heroine was the patron saint of France, Joan of Arc, who at the age of just 17 led the French to victory at Orleans. She was then captured by the English and burnt at the stake, dressed as a soldier. She chose to do this rather than be hung as a woman, as she decided she would die as she had lived her life. Margaret Thatcher was Britain's first and only female Prime Minister. She studied at Oxford University and progressed through the ranks in the Conservative Party to become Education Minister in Ed Heath's government of the early 1970s. Another young lady who is really inspiring is Malala Yousafzai, who is a Pakistani schoolchild and spokesperson for women's rights to education. She was shot by the Taliban gunmen and survived, and she was now the youngest person to be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize from 2013. I think Malala was really brave, and she represents bravery and courage, as she would go to the extremes to get her point across about her rights to an education, considering that nowadays girls and boys abuse the rights to their free education, and many children around the world are not lucky enough to have that right. I have the support behind me from my parents and from my teachers at school, and I now own my own business. It's called Noodle Doodles, and it's a soft play company for under fives, and we do parties and wedding crashes, and I have to deal with the public and play with the children and deal with the facts and figures. So that's how high I can fly, so how high can you fly?